Hi everyone, so I am back with another declutter and I thought I would tackle my lip glosses because I feel like it's kind of a category that I don't have too many products of, or so I thought, and then I dumped all my lip glosses on my table and I realized that I actually have a lot more than I realized. That's why it's long overdue, because I don't actually realize how much I have, and I do actually have quite a lot of products, so I wanted to go through them. And like my previous declutters, I'm going to be lip swatching everything because I feel like I can get a sense of the product more if I do that, especially because some of them I haven't used for ages. So we're gonna go and do that today. I wanna preface this video by saying I do not plan on having a super minimalist collection because that's not my intention. I just wanna kind of get rid of products that don't spark joy, I don't use very often, that are expired and things like that. So I'm not expecting to cull my collection by a whole heap, but I do want to go through my collection and just make sure I'm keeping things in my collection that I'll actually use. So I've kind of organized everything so I can go by brand, and we're going to start off with this one. This is the Dose of Colors lip gloss in Brillo. This was, I believe, part of the Katy and Desi collaboration, and everyone was raving about this, so I kind of got influenced to buy it. I'll be honest, I don't use this lip gloss all that often. I do think it's pretty, but what I don't like about this lip gloss is that I feel like it's gritty. It's like when you pucker your lips together, it feels like there's something on your lips, like sand texture, and I don't really like that, although I do like the look of this gloss. I think it's absolutely stunning. This is definitely not my favorite formula at all, but I do think it is a very pretty gloss, and I think it looks good actually layered over other lipsticks as well, because it is fairly sheer. It just has a little bit of that gold sparkle. So I did try to get that off with a bit of micellar water, but I do notice that there still is a few sparkles here and there, so if you can see that on camera, you probably can't, then that's why. So I do actually have another Dose of Colors lip gloss. This one is kind of more golden, this one is more champagne. Same texture, but I'll show you what it looks like on my lips. Again, when you pucker your lips, you've got a bit of a gritty texture to it, so just be aware if you don't like that. But gonna keep both of these. I think it's a lot of fun. The next ones I've got are from this brand called Fierce Magenta. This is from an Etsy brand. I first heard of it from Violette, who is the creative director of Estee Lauder. I hopped on and I saw that they had some really cool looking glosses, and they're in this pretty basic packaging, and as you can see, the label has completely rubbed off both of them. I bought a few of their samples as well, and they came in just little jars, which I don't really like, I'll be honest. I kind of just wish they came in maybe like mini sizes of this, but they do, however, have a coconut scent. So if you're not into that, which I know a lot of people aren't necessarily, you might not like it. The nice thing about this lip gloss is that it doesn't have like a very sticky texture. It feels more like a kind of like balmy. So if you're not into sticky lip glosses, which I don't know anyone who really is, then I think that, you know, you might like this texture. And I do think that it has a really nice reflect to it. It's definitely a very interesting color. It's kind of like a rosy gold, but yeah, this is a really nice shade and I do like this brand. I'm gonna keep this one. This is actually the one I used in the monochromatic tag. It's golden and orange, and I think it's really, really pretty. Of the ones I have, I think this is my favorite from them. So it's got that hint of that orangey kind of shift. It's nothing super, super opaque, which I think in a way is better because it's more wearable. Like it doesn't look really out there or anything like that compared to maybe what is on the inside of here. And yeah, feels very nice, feels very comfortable. I do have to say that in terms of longevity, these are probably one of the least long wearing lip glosses I have, although, you know, I don't really expect lip glosses to wear all that well because of the texture, and I don't really mind reapplying. Okay, next one is Luna Beige, and this one is more of a kind of a lilac silver, it looks like in the tube. I can't remember the last time I wore this. I'm not sure how I feel about this color. I don't think I really like it because it kind of looks a bit ashy, not super flattering on my skin tone. Purples can be hit and miss for me. I just don't feel like these kind of tones suit me all that well. So didn't expect to be decluttering any from this brand, but I think I'm gonna declutter this one because this color doesn't look great. I honestly don't think I've ever used it either, so that's going. Okay, next three are in pots, and these are some colors that I wanted to test out, but obviously I got them in smaller jars because I probably didn't want to pay full price for them. I've got Ariadne, I don't know how to pronounce that. Sorry. This is a really interesting shade. I think it's actually a gorgeous shade. Whether or not this would look good on my lips is definitely up for debate. We'll see. I'm just gonna use my finger because I don't have a brush on hand and I just can't be bothered at this moment. So just gonna take a bit of that and just apply it straight to lips. It is definitely something. Please ignore my sloppy application. It is advisable to use a brush and not your finger because you're not gonna get very good application as demonstrated. I think this is a really fun color. If I ever want a golden purple lip gloss, this is it. Chances are I'm never gonna use it because I don't need this kind of color in my life. Obviously at some point I felt like I did and I was wrong. Fantasy me would love this color, but when am I gonna wear it except for this video? So I think I'm gonna have to get rid of that, unfortunately. I've got another one of these pots and this is in Astro Pink. This is a bright pink with a golden, you know, peachy shift to it. Again, using fingers because lazy, prepared for a not so precise application. I do not know what I was thinking when I decided to buy this color. When am I gonna wear this lip gloss? And to wear? What occasion? It'd have to be some sort of fancy dress party or something. But that's intense. That's kind of like the first one I showed you, but way more pink and golden. I feel like there was a time and place for a lip gloss like this. But that time and place is not now. And I actually don't think it looks particularly flattering on me. What do you think? But yeah, I'm not gonna go for this color. It's not a color I'd reach for. So I'm gonna actually get rid of this. And also the jar is kind of sticky. I feel like it's leaking. What I might do is actually just wash these out and then I can use this for something else. Next shade is Summer Love. This is the last one in the pot, thank goodness. Ugh, and it has, that's definitely gone bad. So I'm not even gonna put that on my lips because as you can see, it's kind of separated and I feel like this is leaked. So that's definitely going. Good riddance. Ooh, I actually did have another one of these pot things. I'm gonna get rid of this too. It's one of those weird blue colors, which I'm not gonna use. Moving on to my most adored Japanese brand, Suqqu, and I've got 3 lip glosses and I love them all. But in particular, I love this lip gloss. It actually really reminds me of the Gloss Bomb from Fenty Beauty, but I actually prefer the Suqqu formula. I like the wand a bit more because it's a bit longer, so I feel like you can get more coverage of your lips. And I just feel like the shade is, it's deeper and it's a little bit more like orange, so I feel like this shade looks more flattering on me. I remember I pulled this particular lip gloss out of my bag and was applying my lips in the lift in my building, and there was a lady in there with me and she was like, what lip gloss is that? That's beautiful. I was like, Suqqu, it's a Japanese brand, it's not easy to get. Which it really isn't, like unless you have Selfridges Plus membership or you live in Japan, Suqqu is not really an easy brand to come by, unfortunately. And this is a limited edition shade, which is absolutely devastating because I think this is so gorgeous. This is the actual lip gloss that I carry with me pretty much all the time. I once lost this at a friend's house and I was like, I made it an effort to actually, you know, follow up with her to make sure it was there. If it was any other lip gloss, I'd just be like, I've lost it. But this one, I love this so much. It's my absolute favorite lip gloss of my entire lip gloss collection. I think it's so flattering because it's got a really nice texture. It feels so nice on my lips. And it just makes my lips look better. Like a bit more plump, more alive. And I feel like it goes with a lot of the looks that I wear. So Suqqu, please make more of these. Make this shade permanent. I'm actually surprised I haven't actually used more. Like I'm really surprised I haven't actually finished this up because I use it so frequently. Okay, so this shade is the next one, and this I think is called Milk Tea, which I feel like is a very good name for it because it actually really reminds me of like a milk tea drink. I actually really enjoy this shade. I think that this works really well for kind of more cooler toned eye looks. This is the one I kind of reach for when I want something like that. It's just a really nice nudie brown lip gloss. You can layer it up if you want it more opaque. This is what that looks like and I love it. So really enjoy the shade. I'm so glad I picked this up. By the way, if any of you are interested in buying Suqqu, for some reason they're actually cheaper on the Selfridges website than if you actually go to Japan. The conversion tends to be worse. Don't know why that is. Last shade I have from Suqqu is this one in 104, and I can't remember if this was a limited edition shade. I think maybe it was, but this is probably one I don't reach for as much because it is a very bright color. It's not super opaque, and I don't mind that. If they are really opaque, then they're just a little bit more fussy and you probably have to use a mirror to apply them. But I do think this is quite a fun color, like fun for summer. I don't know, like you wear whatever color you want during whatever season you want. But this color reminds me of, you know, just warmer weather. I really do love the Suqqu formula of lip glosses. Moving on to my most recent lip gloss purchases. These are from Bite. They smell like coffee, like ground coffee beans, and I don't mind it. So I've got the shade Salted Caramel and Vanilla Latte. When I first got these, I did actually wear them quite a bit, but I've not recently reached for them that much. I actually really do like this applicator where it's got that pointed tip so you can get into kind of the edges. I think this shade is actually probably the lightest lip gloss I have, and I don't think I could get away with anything lighter. I think this is probably the lightest I could go. Upon first application, it doesn't look like it's the most smooth, but it definitely is, I think, a flattering nude on my complexion. Like I said, I wouldn't go anything lighter because I think then I would look super washed out. But if I wanted like a really almost concealer type lip, without looking like a ghost, this is probably the one I'd go for. So yeah, definitely gonna keep this one because it is a nice nude shade and haven't got any other thing like this in my collection in terms of lip gloss. Next one is Salted Caramel, and this one is deeper and it's a little bit more brown orange. Again, another shade I don't have a duplicate of in my collection, and I like actually that they're both matte because majority of my lip glosses have sparkles. I do often feel like a sparkly lip gloss, but not all the time. I think it looks nice. I don't know why I haven't reached for it more, but I'm definitely going to rotate these two lip glosses more frequently in my everyday makeup bag. Moving on to these two still lip glosses. I actually vividly remember that I held on to these two in my last declutter, and I really shouldn't have. Since then, literally 2 years ago, I have maybe worn this one once, and I've never worn this one. I've learned that I don't really like a super pigmented lip gloss because I'm just too worried that it's gonna smudge and get everywhere. I'll show you what this one looks like. It is a gorgeous color, and I actually do really like stiller lip products. So this is the shade Poppy, and it is very bright. It's gorgeous, and I will never wear it. So this definitely has to go now. If I wanted something bright and punchy, I'd go for a matte lip. It is quite sticky as well, I would say. It feels like my lips are gonna be glued together. Can you see the texture? It's kind of gross. Not a fan of that. 100% sure I'm gonna get rid of this, but I'm dedicated to this swatching process, so I'm gonna swatch it on my lips anyway. This is in the shade Fuchsia Vinyl. It's a gorgeous grape shade, but not the biggest fan of this formula. I hate how I have to be like more careful with these, because to me, lip glosses should be really easy and these just not. So that's Fuchsia Vinyl. Again, I don't like this formula, and I don't like super pigmented lip glosses. So this is gonna go, even though it's a really pretty shade, I am pretty sure I have a shade like this in a matte formula. Much prefer that. Next, I have one random lip gloss from this company called Beauté, and I remember I used to be really into their lip stains. Bought this lip gloss and I don't think I used it very frequently just because back in the day I wasn't really into it. I believe this is a Canadian brand, and they're only available online, and they're really hard to track down. I'm not even sure if they even still going as a company because I don't hear anyone talking about this brand, but they make some really lovely products. Not a fan of this wand applicator, but I mean, this is a pretty old lip gloss, and I feel like back in the day, this was like the popular kind of applicator to have with lip glosses. This shade is actually super close to my actual lip shade, and again, one of the few non-sparkly lip glosses I have. This is such a beautiful shade. I only wish that it had a doe foot applicator because I feel like this wand just makes application so much more, like, takes more effort than it should. Like, I have to just go back in and just keep layering over certain areas. I am going to keep this because I think the color is really, really beautiful. It makes your lips actually look quite plump. I also like the fact that this is not scented. Next, I've got this random lip gloss from Estee Lauder in the shade Rock Candy. I'm pretty sure I got this kind of like in a free with purchase sort of thing, because this is totally not a shade I'd buy, and it looks like a kind of a sample size. It actually looks quite nice on lips, but I will have to say, I hate the smell. It's got that kind of like a candy smell, and I don't like that. I'm not going to use it, so this is going. Okay, so I've got this lip gloss from Gerard Cosmetics, and I think the shade is Nameless Grace. I'm pretty sure this came from a subscription box from one of those indie brands. I think it was the Hello Waffles one. And I've never used this before, but this does not look like a shade that I'd wear. It's quite cool purple. Yeah, this is totally not my shade. I wouldn't wear this. So I'm getting rid of this one. Next are the glosses I feel that started, you know, the whole lip gloss love of mine. And these are from Fenty Beauty. These are the gloss bombs. As you can see, I've used a significant proportion of it. Half of it's already gone, and I don't think I've ever used up a whole lip gloss in my life. So for me, that is a significant progress. And I've also got this one in Fussy. So this is original, and this is Fussy, which is one of the newer shades. Lauren May Beauty, I saw her wear it and it looked gorgeous on her. Obviously we have very different complexions, but I thought I'd try it out anyway. I'm gonna put this on my lips and then do the side comparison so you can see what this looks like versus what the Suqqu one looks like. The one thing I don't like about these lip glosses are that they have a very strong sweet scent, and I don't particularly like that. So this is what it looks like. Very comfortable gloss, non-sticky, flattering, beautiful shade. That's why I guess I kind of fell into lip glosses again. So for a period of time, I used to wear this lip gloss all the time, and then when I found the Suqqu one, I stuck to that one. Look, I don't always mind a scented product, but I prefer when they're not super strong and sweet in smell. I mean, after a while the smell like kind of dissipates and you forget about it, but I just kind of wish they were unscented personally. Definitely gonna keep this one around. And this is in Fussy, which is more of a pink toned shade. I think this one is really nice as well, but I do prefer the Fenty Glow shade just because I feel like it's a bit deeper. I like both of these shades, so I'm gonna keep both of them. But if I had to pick one, I definitely do prefer the Fenty Glow. I just feel like it looks more flattering on my skin tone, but I think both of them work really well. Next lip gloss I have is this one from Mina. I, for the longest time, used to think this was 3ina. I don't know, I honestly feel like this brand logo is so confusing and it's doing a disservice by doing that. I don't know, I just don't like it. But I actually really like this shade. Mel from Aussie Beauty Talk gave this to me when I saw her in Newcastle, which was very lovely of her. It's actually the first Mina product I've ever tried before. We do have a store in Melbourne Central, and I've gone in there maybe a few times, but every time I walk out, I walk out with nothing. This is a really nice brick red shade. It's not sticky at all, and it actually applies on pretty thinly, which I don't mind, given that it's a kind of a richer shade. I wouldn't want it kind of going everywhere, so I quite like that it does go on a bit more thinly, because the applicator is smaller, so I feel like it does take time to kind of build up the color around the lips. But yeah, it's not a bad lip gloss at all. Mina is also, I think it's Italian brand, isn't it? Or it's a Greek brand. This is made in Italy, FYI. So I like the shade and I'm gonna keep this one. So I have 4 lip glosses from Pat McGrath, and pretty sure I'm gonna keep all of them. This one is the only one with no sparkles in them. These 3 have sparkles, which I actually prefer these ones over this. This is in the shade Pale Fire. I think this is a stunning shade. Reminds me of one of the lip glosses I got from MAC a long time ago, and the shade is stunning. I think this would make for also a nice lip topper as well. So as you can see, it does have maybe an orangey base to it, and then lots of pink sparkles. This kind of reminds me of like the lip gloss version of Prismatic Petal, Via Nectar. I think if you wore them all together, it looked very monochromatic. It's very reflective, it's a beautiful color, definitely a unique shade in my collection. So keeping on to that one. Next one is the shade Alien Gellick, and this one kind of has dimensions of pink and blue and kind of a yellow. So it's very interesting. I don't think I've ever worn it, honestly, which is kind of sad. Surprisingly, this actually really reminds me of Pale Fire. I wasn't expecting it to be this pink on the lips. So honestly, even though these two look so different in the tube, they look really similar on the lips, which I was not expecting at all. I feel like this looks pretty much the same. The pink sparkle is very dominant in the gloss, and I can't really see as much of like the yellow and the blue. I've got this shade in Flesh Astral, and I really like this shade. I think this is probably my favorite one from Pat McGrath, just because it's a bit more of a nude, and it's a bit more of like a brown nude as well, which I like. And these are definitely the shades that I gravitate to more than some of the more interesting shades. It actually really reminds me of Salted Caramel from Bite Beauty, but with sparkles, and it's not as, you know, orangey as this one, but it's beautiful. Really, really like this shade. And last one from Pat McGrath is Flesh 4, and this is the one that is a non-sparkly finish. So this is definitely a little bit more grungier, a bit more brown. This one does actually really remind me of the Mina one, but I feel like it's more brown, like burgundy than red. I think this one is a really gorgeous shade as well. I feel like this is something I probably gravitate towards more in the cooler months, so going to rotate this into my collection a bit more frequently. I am going to keep all my Pat McGrath lip glosses. I think they're all really gorgeous. But having said that, I'm probably not going to be purchasing more of the Pat McGrath lip glosses, just because I feel like for the price, they are nice lip glosses, but I think I prefer even the Fenty ones and the Suqqu ones, which I think are cheaper than these ones, if I'm not mistaken. I'm starting to really regret that I said I was going to lip swatch everything, because my lips are like, why are you doing this? We're nearly done, but I've got two from Gerard Cosmetics. I haven't really heard much about the brand since I bought these. Like, I bought this back in a time when everyone was kind of talking about it, or the big people were talking about it, because they were getting paid, you know, to talk about it. This is in the shade Wild Berry Tart. I think this is probably one of those shades that Jaclyn Hill said was good. Again, it's got kind of that sweet smell that I don't like, and it's kind of like another My Lips But Better shade as well. But I prefer the one from Boutte over this one. I think that texture looks so much nicer than this one. I mean, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't need two My Lips But Better shades. So I'm gonna get rid of this one. Now this one is in the shade Cocoa Bean. It's got a mirror on the back, just in case you don't have a mirror. I don't think this is a bad idea. We're gonna use the mirror today. So that's Cocoa Bean there. I do actually really enjoy myself a brown lip product. I like the whole kind of grungy look that it gives. And I do actually really like this shade. It does feel a little bit sticky. It's definitely on the more pigmented side. Yeah, I do like the shade, but honestly, I don't think I'll use it. I think I'm gonna get rid of this one as well. I just don't reach for my Gerard Cosmetics lip glosses or lip creams, whatever they are. I've got a Chanel lip gloss. I actually thought I didn't have any other Chanel lip products, but I seem to have this one. I think possibly my mum gave this to me, because I don't think like this is something I'd buy. This is Rouge Extrait Gloss in 55, Confidence. I can just tell straight off the bat, this is not a shade I'd wear. It's kind of like a watermelon-y pink. I feel like this is a very young and feminine color, and a color that just doesn't suit me. So I'm gonna declutter this, I'm sorry. So I've got this Giorgio Armani gloss in 600, and this is a really beautiful color. I actually don't reach for this all that much. I need to. It's kind of a little bit berried tone, and the formula is quite nice. Even though it's got sparkles, I feel like it's not as reflective and sparkly as the formulas that we see these days, because I feel like that's kind of what's in. And I don't mind that, because I feel like it's a little bit more natural and work appropriate. But gonna hang on to this one. Okay, moving on to this one. This is an Etude House lip gloss. This is the Dear Darling gloss, and my friend Julie gave this to me when she went to Korea, and I've used it a few times. I've used this on my eyes before, actually. That wasn't a good idea. I thought I could substitute a lip gloss for an eye gloss, and you can't really. This one kind of has a fruity, sweet smell, and it kind of reminds me of like a Dose of Colors lip gloss. I can see the glitter particles on my lips, but the difference between those ones and this one is I can't feel it, which is great. And of course, Julie gave this to me, and I'm gonna keep it because I'm sentimental that way. I do think this is a really pretty shade. It's almost like a translucent gloss with a bit of sparkles, so you could layer this on top of anything and you could still see the original color of that lipstick. I've got this mini sample from The History of Who, and this is a pink lip gloss with sparkles in it, and I don't think I've ever used it. Ooh, that's super pink. It's kind of like the Pat McGrath one, but way more pigmented. I actually quite like that. It kind of smells like yuzu. I really like that. That's a smell I can get on board with. But do I need it? Having 3 lip glosses which look very similar, it's not super necessary. And I probably, to be honest, because this is so pink and shiny and reflective, I probably won't reach for this as much as the Pat McGrath ones, which are slightly more subtle. It's really, really fun though, and I feel like it kind of goes in my eye look because today I've actually got the clear eyeshadow that I was talking about in my Japan haul in Exclusive. This is such a beautiful shade. Okay, so that one is definitely harder to remove. There's like so many glitter particles on my lips. I have left the worst till last. I have got all these, I don't know what you call them. Are they like lip tars? From this brand, House of Beauty. And I bought this so long ago and they have such cool colors. Like I've got this really fun color in Aura, but I really just don't reach for this. One, because they come in pots and this is so finicky to use. They're also very gloopy and require a lot of kind of effort to apply them on. You definitely need a brush because they're so opaque. They are so stunning though. They're really beautiful. And for so long I've held off on getting rid of these because I've just been like, what if I need it for, you know, a really fun editorial look? But honestly, I'm opening these now and they are starting to smell really off and I just have not used them in years. So I'm sad to say that I think I'm gonna get rid of all of them. And this is really bumming me out because I have so many of these. I'm not going to actually swatch them on my lips just because I'm pretty sure these are off now. They're not smelling good and I don't want to get anything from them. So yeah, I don't even know if this brand is still around, but I hate this packaging, which is definitely a factor as to why I just never reached for them. But I mean, there are some really gorgeous shades in here. You know, I'm not going to use them. If I haven't used them all these years, I'm not going to suddenly be like, okay, I'm going to use it. Like I don't do super, super crazy colorful bold lips these days. And if I do, it's generally not a gloss formula. It'll be a matte formula, which I much prefer. So I'm unfortunately getting rid of all of these. I honestly did not think getting into this video I would be able to make that decision. But just opening them now and realizing how old they are, it would be ridiculous of me to actually keep these. It would just be really masochistic. So that's all the lip glosses I have. Thank goodness, because my lips can't take it anymore. I'm getting rid of 27 lip glosses. That is insane because I really didn't think I'd do such a massive cull. I didn't actually think I had that many lip glosses, but I am definitely more of a hoarder of lip glosses than I thought, especially as someone who's only just, I feel like, recently gotten into lip glosses. So getting rid of 27, keeping 19. I'm happy with that because I feel like all the ones I'm gonna keep, I'm gonna use. So yeah, that's it. That's my declutter. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm gonna do a lip mask tonight because my lips will totally need it. Yeah, I'm hoping none of you ask me to do my lipsticks because I think I'd have to do them in 2 parts over like several days because otherwise my lips will be falling apart. I'm gonna continue to slowly go through my collection and declutter a whole bunch of stuff so that I have, you know, the best collection that I can have, you know, and removing the fat and the excess that I really don't need. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Let me know if you've tried any of these glosses and what your favorite lip gloss formulas are because, well, just for funsies because I totally don't need any more lip glosses, and hope to catch you next one. Thanks for watching.